What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be back on the MPC Live 2, and in this video I'm going to show you all about the sampling interface and how to get sounds into this device. Hopefully this video is useful to those of you that are brand new to this device. I'm going to walk you through everything that you can see on the screen when you're sampling in. I'm going to show you how you can get sounds into the MPC and start making beats with them. It may also be useful to those of you looking to purchase an MPC Live 2 maybe, because it gives you an idea of the workflow too. So I'm not new to the MPC, but I am new to the Live 2 and the digital software that comes with it. So if there is anything I've missed, please leave a comment below in the comments area and let everyone know if there's something major that I've missed, or if you've got any little tips and tricks. On this channel here, we're all about sharing the knowledge, so that would be great if you could do that. So let's get this device under the cameras and under the lights, and I can start showing you everything I know about sampling in. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the main screen that you'll see when you turn it on the device. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to the sampler. So there's a few ways you can actually do this. One way is to hold menu and then press the second button down from the left, and that's like a little shortcut that takes you to the sampler. Or you can just hit menu and then click sampler on the screen right here like this. Now, one of the things which is actually quite annoying about this is that by default monitoring is turned off, so don't worry if you feel like you're not getting a signal. There's just a button here which says off, as you can see. If you hit that and press in, that means you'll then be able to hear the signal coming into the device. I'll also do a quick visual of where the inputs are going into the back of my device as well. But as you can see on the screen, it says input 1 and 2, which is pretty much what you're going to be using for most of it. I'm going to be sampling in stereo. If you're doing samples, use stereo. If you're doing drums, use mono. That's a general rule, really. You don't want stereo drums, you want mono drums that hit down the middle of the mix. And you want stereo samples to pad out the rest of the kind of mix of the beat that you're making. Inserts here, you can basically add effects before you sample in, which is a pretty cool little feature. So as you can see here, it brings up a little interface menu. We can go through whatever we want. Let's say we want harmonic, and we can add lo-fi if we want, and you can toggle that on and off. You can edit the settings, so if you want to add one effect or numerous effects, you can stack them up here. You can have up to 4 by the looks of it, and you can add those effects on the fly as you're sampling in, which is quite a nice little feature. Up at the top bar here, that icon on the left is just showing you that you're in the sampler mode. This symbol here, which is like a keyboard with a plus on it, that's going to give you the information about where the samples are going to go to, what you're recording through basically. So as you can see here, it's saying this is the current track, which determines what will be sampled. So this is actually important for something later, which I'll show you. It's saying it's going to go to program 1, and it's using input 1 and 2. I don't really open that dialog much, to be honest. I already know where it's going to go. That's an annoying thing when you click out of that. It loses its place, so you have to go back into the sampler. Okay, so on the left here you can see this is like a threshold thing, so you can choose a threshold if you want to, say, wait for the MPC to sample only over a certain volume. This is really useful if you're using one-shots, because you don't want random noise before your drum or your kick. So what you can do is bring the threshold up, and then it'll only start recording when it hears that sound, and you won't get any dead space before it. I always have this just set to infinity, which basically means it's going to start recording whatever you do. In the middle here you've got ARM, which basically means set it ready for recording. You've got a sample length timer, and you've got the max length here. I mean, you're never going to really need, I'd say, probably more than 30 to 40 seconds sample time. I think you'd be really pushing it if you go further than that. I would say a minute is probably the absolute most that you'll need. Along the bottom, which is the final thing that I want to mention, is you've got the 4 sampling modes available here. You've got sample, which is you're just recording in, basically like a recording device. Slice, that's my favorite. So it's non-destructive, and basically what happens is when you're recording the sample in, you can hit the pad. You can hit any pad at any point, so it can be just the first one over and over. You can do it in order, whatever you want. That will set slice marks, and they're non-destructive, so you can go in later and edit all the positions of those and everything. That's amazing, that mode. I use it pretty much every sample that I'm sampling in. I'll chop using the pads while it's recording, and then it's ready to go to make beats with straight away. Pad tap is interesting. You tap a pad as the signal is coming in, and that will start recording onto that pad. Then when you hit another pad, it will start recording onto that pad. So it will record different recordings from what I can tell. I think the main difference between slice and pad tap is basically that slice is going to set slice points, pad tap is actually going to make separate recordings. So pad tap might be quite useful if you want different sections of a sample. So you want the start, not the middle, but the end. You could tap at the start, leave it, and then tap at the end again. I don't see the point of using pad tap over slice, to be honest. I think slice is much better. Pad hold is quite nice because that will mean you can actually get separate little bits of the sample. You can press and hold a pad while the sample is coming in. You press down, it will record while you're holding it, and when you let go, it will stop recording. That would be a really good way of getting loads of different little bits from a sample that aren't necessarily right together. So slice is going to be really good if all your sample is together and you're just slicing along it, but if you want all little different bits, pad tap and pad hold might be worth looking into. So I mentioned before about this dialog box that I pulled up saying that it said it was going to sample into program 1. That's really important for pad tap and pad hold. The reason being, when you hit slice, when you finish doing that, it will ask you to assign it to a new program, and you can rename that program so you know where all those samples are going. With pad tap and pad hold, it doesn't do that for some reason. What it actually does is it will just put it into the program which is currently set. So what you can do is you can go to main, and here you can see drum program, it's set on program 1. That's where it's going to go. You can make a new program if you want to, rename it, and then when you're using sample, you'll know that that's where it's going into. So that's a bit more complicated, and what happens is you record and then nothing happens after you finish recording. It's a bit weird because as an MPC user for quite a while, you're expecting some sort of dialogue to happen after you've made a recording to say like, what do you want to do with this recording basically, but that doesn't happen on pad tap and pad hold, so be aware of that. So I'm going to go ahead and use slice, and I'm going to sample in something, and I'm going to use the pads to slice it as it's recording in. Okay, and that's that done, and as you can see here, automatically, without me even doing anything, keep or discard the sample. So you can either save it to your sample pool or onto the device basically to use later. You can play it and listen to it. You can discard it. Create is basically saying confirm. Do you want to confirm what you're doing here? Edit at the end, if you hit that, that's going to immediately take you to editing the program that you've created. So make sure you've done the naming and everything before you hit edit, because otherwise it will save it as new sample 1 and take you straight to the sample editing screen. So I'm going to go ahead and call this samples just for now, do it. And as you can see now, it's saying it's going to save it called samples and create a new program with non-destructive slices. That's exactly what I want because I might want to go back in later and edit it. So that's what I'm going to do for this sample. There are other options here. I don't know what with pad parameters actually means right now, so I'm just going to stick with this workflow for this one. Perhaps I'll cover that in a different video. So samples, that's what we're going to call it. Non-destructive slices, yep, and we're going to create it. Great, so let's go back to main now. So where does that exist now? All we can see on this main screen is program 1, which was there before we even started doing any sampling, and track 1 and sequence 1. So it's really easy to find it. All you have to do is go to program 1 here, click on it with your finger. You can just press it using the touchscreen and cycle through, and as you can see here, we've got samples CH. Now I have no idea why this does this, but every time you name something on the MPC, it puts CH at the end. I don't know why it does that. If someone knows that, if there's a specific reason for that, please let me know. So I end up having to go in every time, deleting CH and pressing do it. I don't know if that's a default somewhere or something, but every time I record something in, it puts CH at the end. So I've just taken that off now. So now we've got samples, and if I hit these pads, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you there, guys. That's how easy it is to get samples chopped up and on the pads, and in a non-destructive way as well, like I mentioned. So you can go in, play around with the start and end points, and also there's so many other things you can do once you've got these samples in, but I'll cover that in a different video. But for now, we've got these pads with chops on them, and we can already start jamming ideas out. So let's see if I can find something to start jamming and create a beat idea with. So there we go. It's incredibly easy to get ideas going on this machine, and that's why I love it so much. So I hope this was useful to you guys. I hope that shows you how to use the sampler, and for those of you that maybe are looking to purchase this machine, gives you an idea of the kind of workflow of sampling in. One thing I probably forgot to mention actually is when you are sampling in, the sample source at the back, which I'll show you in a separate video, where I'm plugging into, that can be any source you want. So that could be vinyl, it could be from your phone, it could be from your laptop. Again, I'll do that in another video talking about different sources, getting them into the machine, but it's super easy to do. Very similar to the SP, in fact. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that if people are thinking, how do you sample vinyl? It's exactly the same principles. Thanks very much for watching, guys. If you have any questions about this area, or you want to add something in that I've missed, because there is probably a chance that I might have missed something, then please go ahead and let me know in the comments below. That's pretty much how I sample in every time with the MPC. And I just find that workflow incredible. It's so fast, and you could see how quickly there I was getting an idea for a beat, so I absolutely love it. Stay safe, guys. I'll be releasing more videos very soon, so don't forget to hit that subscribe. Smash that like button as well if you're new to the MPC Live too. I'd love to see if you're finding my videos, and hopefully they'll help you out. Till next time, guys, keep making beats, and I'll be back soon. Peace!